Hi, Nick here with another random review, and I know, I said I would review EA Sports MMA after Undisputed 2010, but unfortunately I'm moving and all my shit's packed up, but I needed to put out something, anything to show that I am in fact not dead. Don't worry, that review will be coming, but for today, let's focus on the series that made me want to start this channel in the first place. That being Mega Man. So far, the Mega Man X games have been a breath of fresh ass. Classic Mega Man, as much as I love it, got stale after 3. I can count the amount of major changes between 4 and 7 on my thumbs. 4 added charging, 5 and 6 added jack shit, and 7 added Shadjita the Hedgebot. Hell, it wasn't even until the 11th main game that the series saw big gameplay changes itself. What I'm saying is, classic Mega Man's gameplay needed a few shakeups pretty early on, and X was pretty much exactly that. If you're looking for classic Mega Man, but updated, our blue underwear-clad red gemstone-wearing friend was the perfect wingman. Which brings me back to my point of rehashing, which I brought up in my Undisputed 2010 review. That sometimes it's just better to redo what you're good at instead of trying to do something crazy and experimental. On one hand, I can't really fault Capcom for sticking with this tried and true formula, because when they tried to do something different, it didn't really work. But the real question is Mega Man X5 a rehash? Yes and no. Does it do anything interesting? Is it even that good of a game? These are all questions that we will explore as we dig into Mega Man X5. This is Mega Man X5. The game's story begins with Sigma, because who fucking else, attacking a space colony called Eurasia. I guess we needed to have somewhere to put Turkey, why not space? And it's here that the game's first major issue pops up. The dialogue boxes. You can expect the text box to pop up at very least 5 times per level. And sometimes you'll just be moseying along, minding your business, blowing shit up, and boom. Titties McGee here interrupts your game with enough text to make Ian Fleming go, you mind dialing that back a notch? This dialogue pops up everywhere too. Hell, most levels start with dialogue. Like, thanks lady, I've played Mega Man before. I thought, because I've played and beaten Mega Man X5, I kind of thought James Rolfe was overstating how much dialogue is in this game, but no. Honestly, I couldn't have said it better. I know that the X series is trying to push more story than the regular series, but look, Capcom, we have to have a talk. This isn't an RPG. I know it's been like 20 plus years, but don't put this much text in your action games, please. And you still do it with Monster Hunter. Stop it. Battle Network doesn't have this much text, and that's an actual RPG. Hell, there exists an actual Mega Man X RPG, and even that doesn't have this much dialogue. But if you thought that being assaulted with dialogue that slows you down wasn't bad enough, turns out Mega Man X doesn't need help moving like shit in this game. Mega Man X now moves like trying to pull a paint roller through molasses. Yeah, I'm not sure why or how, but somebody at Capcom managed to fuck up his movement from X4, which was damn near perfect. Now he's kind of slow and clunky to move about. Also, you start with the armor from X4 if you choose X, which means you have no reason to ever choose normal X or 0, and also no reason whatsoever to obtain the near game-breaking suit of armor that makes you invincible for short periods of time. Yeah, that's real, but you won't need it because the game is mostly piss easy as it is. I say mostly because the game goes through a couple very sudden difficulty spikes. And by sudden, I mean as sudden as a jump cut. Volt Kraken's stage is a repeat of Jet Stingray's stage from X4, only on a cocktail of cocaine and Anavar. You move so damn fast, and the level literally starts you off near a ledge. Thankfully, this part is a lot shorter than in the last game. I will give it that. Then you have Burn Dino Rex's stage, where you have to hide behind walls to avoid lava. This was... okay, admittedly, I thought it was actually pretty cool. I feel like I've seen this before in a previous Mega Man X game, I'm not too sure. Kind of reminds me of the Big Laser and Power Rangers. The Super Nintendo game, not the show. It frustrated me a little, but not so much that I didn't want to try. It's when you get to this part that the shit switch gets flipped, and it just brings your piss to a boil. You have two paths. One is shorter, but has trickier platforming and a dragon. The other has you taking up a suit of ride armor, going through the lava, but the ride armor is, shit. It feels like controlling a literal mound of shit. You can't move while charging up attacks, and dashing just feels gross, like really gross, like I need a shower after playing this level. I would get to the end of this section and try jumping out of the suit, but would either die or not jump out. You also can't act out of jumping from the mech, meaning you can't jump out and then hover or air dash. I have no idea how I got past this part because I didn't do anything different when it worked. It just decided to work. It's the strangest fucking thing. Like, I tried so many times, and then this one time it worked. I guess. Thanks, Capcom. The one thing I like about the story is just the lengths they go to trying to hide the fact that Sigma's the villain again. Like, why is his name in question marks? His face is right there. Like, he's 2 steps away from showing up in X6 with a pair of fucking Groucho Marx glasses. Also, I wanted to mention this when reviewing X4, but apparently Sigma's laugh is hee hee hee, which, I'm sorry, but could you imagine this hulking monstrosity of a Mr. Clean cosplayer giggling like a fucking schoolgirl? I mean, I don't know, whenever I look at this guy, I picture a guffaw or a bwahaha, hell, a foo-foo-foo might even work, if we're going by, Japanese laughing onomatopoeias, but hee hee hee? This is what I hear every time I read this. You're puffed! You're puffed! Kind of takes away some of the intimidation factor. Also, in the original release, I don't know why they changed it in the Legacy Collection, but all the bosses are named after Guns N' Roses members, and that makes me smile. Little known fact, this was actually localized by Alison Court, who you might know as either the voice of Claire Redfield in Resident Evil 2, the original, or Lunette from Big Comfy Couch. I'm not making that up. That is true. So, back to the story. After the intro stage, it's revealed that Sigma lost on purpose so he could use the space colony to spread his virus throughout the world and infect all Reploids. So now you have to obtain parts from one of the bosses to build a laser that will blow up the colony before it crashes.
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Also, you have a time limit. Yeah, so going into a level costs you an hour of time, and you've got 16 hours before this space colony decides to come down and skull-fuck the Earth. Meaning you either have to get shit in one go, or wait until you've beaten all 8 bosses to obtain all the armor parts. Effectively, this makes Mega Man X5 both the shortest and the longest Mega Man X game. The shortest because you actually don't need to get all the laser and space shuttle parts. Yeah, you can literally just roll the dice, go straight to the colony, and beat Sigma with no weapons or items. While kind of cool, I feel like it's not done terribly well here. To use Chrono Trigger as an example, that game has multiple endings, and loads of optional content that only serves as filler to power you up. But it's interesting filler. And after a point, yeah, you can just jump straight to Lavos. Hell, on New Game Plus, you can go straight to the end boss once you reach the Corridor of Time, which is less than a few hours into the game. But the multiple endings make experimenting with this sort of thing worth it. Chrono Trigger is a game where in many cases, the player gets to choose just how long it is, and still get a satisfying conclusion. But in Mega Man X5, you got 3 outcomes and all of them disappoint. After beating the bosses with the laser parts, the laser turns out to be as impotent as a 93-year-old porn star and you have to fall back on plan B, which is essentially missile fuck the colony with a space shuttle. After getting all the parts for that, Zero decides to YOLO the hell out of the colony, and you have to go get his tighty-whities clad ass to bring him home. But Zero's presence on the colony has only actually made things worse, which, Zero, please stay home, okay? Just, I don't know, call in sick, because shit tends to go from, 5 to 15 with you around. And this leads the Sigma virus to mutate into the Zero virus, and in turn, powering Zero up considerably. What we get from this is probably the coolest damn boss fight in the series. The fight with Zero is the stuff of legends, and it's all driven home by the absolute best background music in a series known for having damn good music. In fact, that's the song you've been listening to for the past couple of minutes here. Actually, the whole damn game has had some really good tunes so far. The ones that stand out are the opening theme, the Zero Space theme, and Duff McWhalen stage. The last one is actually reused from Mega Man X2 with some added instruments. It sounds really nice here, and I like when they do callbacks to older shit. Hell, during the Black Devil boss fight, we even get a PS1 rendition of the boss music from the first Mega Man game. Hell, the boss is even weak to the same weapon. Who'd have thunk? My only gripe is that Zero, like most of the bosses, is not terribly hard unless he goes full Maverick. Then he's a bit harder. After that fight, you go toe-to-toe with Sigma, where he says something odd. He mentions an old man that also hates X. If you paid attention to X4, you know he's referring to Dr. Wily. Fuck, Stevie Wonder could see that shit coming a mile away. But this never really amounts to anything. Yeah, Zero was built by Dr. Wily, but that's really just a fact and not so much an actual integral part of the plot. X4 built it up to be a big deal that it would be like ground shaking when it's revealed, but at the end of the day, it's a big old nothing burger. And this is supposed to be the finale of the X series. Yeah, this was supposed to be it. So a plot twist where it's revealed that Sigma was just a pawn of Dr. Wily, and then you have to go through like 4 Dr. Wily themed stages for a final battle with Dr. Wily to cap off the entire Mega Man mythos would have been awesome. Like, have a plot twist where it's revealed that Sigma was just a pawn and Dr. Wily's managed to keep himself alive all this time through robotics, or it's a hologram like Dr. Light is. That would have been a great way to cap shit off. Like, you have this really neat idea, and you essentially, you toss off with it. I mean, yeah, it would essentially be like how Wily is always the villain of the classic games, but on a much grander scale. You trick us into thinking every game is going to have Sigma as the villain, only for him to turn out to be a lackey. And hell, bring back Gamma from Mega Man 3 and have the very last boss of the X series be Sigma fused with Gamma. God, Capcom, just hire me. I have ideas that actually have a payoff. As I say as I'm talking about a 20-year-old game. And the ending is just, it's so disappointing. Zero dies and X goes on as a Maverick Hunter. This time sporting Zero's saber. As an entry into the Mega Man X series, this is fine. If there was meant to be a Mega Man X6, this would be a serviceable way to segue into Mega Man X6. But nothing about the ending feels like a definite conclusion. Zero's death definitely opens up for another game, in fact it was meant to. The ending of X5 was meant to lead directly into the start of Mega Man Zero, where 100 years have passed and Zero is regarded as a legend that may or may not have ever actually existed. But no, that would have been cool and interesting, so what did Capcom do instead? They greenlit Mega Man X6 without Keiji Inafune's knowledge, thus screwing up whatever sort of story he was trying to tell. And not to say that that story was particularly great, for the most part this is the end of the story of Mega Man X, and well, it's kind of 2 games too long, I feel. Really, you only needed X1, 4, and 5, and you have a semi-complete story. X2 is great and all, but it's just Mega Man X1 Part 2, and a little harder. Plot-wise, it does nothing, and X3 is what I like to call the Garlic Jr. saga of Mega Man X. It's like a 16-bit rectal examination. At the end of it all, you just come out butthurt and irritable. Now, with this being the end, you might think I might just forego reviewing X6 and just go straight to Zero, but nope, it will probably be my next video. For realsies this time. I promise.